Good day to our wonderful viewers at home. You're welcome to our special edition of Issue Program brought to you from ABN TV, Osun State, Nigeria. This is a program where we come together to discuss about things around us, things concerning the economic, social, and political aspects in the society. I'm the anchor of today's program, and my name is Justina Alaufo. I'm also having a colleague in the house who will be discussing the issue with. She is Moni Adiowole. And we are having a special guest in the house. He is an important personality. He's a person in charge of the electoral processes and activities in the state, and he is the resident electoral commissioner in the state of Osun. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Can you please introduce yourself, sir?
Olusegun Agbaje is my name. Resident Electoral Commissioner for Osun State.
Okay, sir. So, as the resident electoral commissioner, what are your constitutional duties?
Thank you very much for that question. The duty of a resident electoral commissioner is to oversee the activities of the commission in the state. Most of the activities rest on the shoulder of the chairman of the commission, but he is the representative of the chairman in the state. And all the electoral activities of the state are performed through him. He has officers who are working with him that he also has to oversee the affairs of those officers, starting from the administrative secretary, who is like the coordinator, like a permanent secretary in the ministry for the state. And as reg, he coordinates all the other activities like the rest of the department and reports to me, and also gives instructions on what needs to be done. The commission at Abuja send directives and messages on what you need to do as pertaining electoral activities, and all these are passed through the resident electoral commissioner to all the various offices and officers in the state, starting from the state office to the electoral officers and the local government levels. Incidentally, we are not doing election now, so activities are not as very heavy as when we are doing electoral activities, but preparations are always ongoing, officers training and workshops and so on and so forth.
So, sir, how can you judge the effort of the last general election, effort of the INEC in the last general election?
Well, I would rather think that that question should have gone to the members of the public who are looking at what we are doing, so that I will not be accused of being biased. But by and large, within the constitutional limits allowed us, I think the commission, not just in Osun, but even across the country, that the commission did its best within the circumstances we found ourselves at that time. And I believe that given better opportunities and other circumstances, we will also improve on our performance.
So, is there a provision for citizens in diaspora to vote in the next coming election?
As of today, the National Assembly is here to make a law. So if there is no law, then the Commission cannot do what the law has not allowed us to do.
Okay. So what should we be expecting in the continuous voters exercise?
It's also, we are waiting directly from the national headquarters, but we also know that while this, a lot of plans have been made towards the end of last year, that between the end of the first quarter and second quarter of this year, we will begin our activities again. But because of this COVID that took everybody by surprise, apparently we could not do much in that regard. Only those days who are having elections could have maybe distributing cards, not even the registration could not take because of this COVID challenge.
Okay. So what are those plans towards it?
When we know that the atmosphere is very much conducive to conducting it, the Commission will take a decision. It's not something you can do here in the state. It has to be a general one across the country at the same time.
Okay, so what are the challenges INEC are facing? I know there are a lot of challenges.
Well, it depends on which area you are looking at it, but just like every other agency in the country, INEC also has its own areas of challenge. And part of the challenges we are having are the ones that we are handling already with the National Assembly before this COVID pandemic started this year. Between 1st and 6th of March this year, the Commission met in Lagos. The Chairman, National Commissioner, Regional Commissioners across 36 states and FCT, and many directors were also there, and a few deputy directors. And some other external bodies were invited, like the Senate Committee on INEC, the House of Rep Committee on INEC, and we also invited some members of executive of the State Independent Electoral Commission to also come and look at what we are doing, particularly in the area of looking at I would say the Electoral Act first. I know the National Assembly is also working on the Constitution to also look at the areas where probably the Electoral Act will have been affected, so that we can also work on it in the Constitution review they are doing. But the one that we majorly focus upon at that workshop was in the area of looking at our areas of challenges, areas of differences in what we are doing in our work in INEC. Because of the nature of the assignment, and because it involved the highest hierarchy in the Senate and House of Rep, I will not want to go into details here, so that I will not take the bag, the board out of the bucket.
Okay, sir. After identifying these challenges, what are the measures that have been put in place to tackle these challenges, to provide solutions to them by the body?
Well, if we are talking generally about our own challenges without going to the Electoral Act, it's a different thing. But like I said, some of the challenges we have seen, some of it we have even seen in the outside world today, like parties are doing primaries, INEC will be invited, we will not until the last minute, even in some cases, we don't even get the list of voters that in those primaries. Whereas if INEC is conducting an election, 30 days to the election, we will give copies of electoral voters register to all the parties participating in that election. But this is not the case. We will be running after politicians, they will be deceiving us, they will bring the list, they will never give us the list. Apparently, because when we have the list, and when we get to the venue where the event is taking place, to enable us compare the voters that they are put there on their own list and the ones we got before the election, before the exercise, so that I can compare whether it is true. Because politicians have a different way of doing their things. They do not want us to see, because they know that they want to write a report on this election, and if any aggrieved party goes to court to challenge what has been done at that primary election, it is INEC that the court will call upon to come and tender its report, and this will go against what they want to cover.
Okay, sir. You were talking about the challenges now, and you are only mentioning about the politicians. Don't you have any challenges concerning the citizens, the voters? Don't you have any challenges from them too? Well,
the voters derive their own responsibilities from the politicians, because the politicians are the ones to direct them, do this, do that. Because INEC on its own, it is when you have INEC coming to the election table, to the polling unit election day, and doing something that is wrong, that can have the voters rioting or conspiring, doing something that is not right. But INEC will not go there to go and do all these things, so they are not likely to react negatively. But if politicians are using them to do this, to do that, because like the person we caught at Iwo during the government election in 2018, which we are still in court over, it's not one of the voters at that particular voting unit where the man was caught. Apparently it must have been sent by some people who likely will be politicians. So this is why we say that the major challenge that we have in the commission comes from the politicians. By and large, we hold meetings with them because we have so many stakeholders, be it gender, be it students, be it adult staff, be it politicians, be it political parties, religious leaders, traditional leaders, and so on and so forth, that we meet regularly with. About this year, we have not been able to meet because of this challenge of this pandemic that we are all battling with. But I know as soon as this is over, we'll start again with all our various activities, because in Osun State, even though we don't have election now, but we are preparing, starting from local government, to look at what did we lose during the last election, what do we need to get again from national headquarters in readiness for the next election. So these are the things we are doing before this COVID something started in March this year. But I believe that very soon, and by the grace of God, this thing will leave Nigeria and maybe the entire globe, because we are all of us are praying for it to go, because it's not, we are not doing business as we used to do it now. And then you can see, talking from the various people that are doing campaign now, that it is not really the way that INEC would want it to be. That is why INEC has also created a scenario that will enable politicians to know how to operate during COVID-19 pandemic, or how to carry out a voting in election date. Things have been marked that people are going to line up from markings from various places on election day. People that don't put their face mask will not be allowed to come into a voting arena. So all these are part of the measure that the Commission has taken, has also imbibed to ensure that also COVID-19 protocol compliance.
Okay, sir. Talking about the pandemic now in the country now, we know that the older generation are the ones most that are being affected by this pandemic due to their age. Is there any measure or preparation that has been put in place by the INEC concerning the forthcoming election of Ondo and Edo states? What are the preparation or measures that have been put in place because of these older people?
It's what I just discussed with you. I said that because of the situation we have found ourselves, now voters that are coming, we have arranged a voting arena in such a way that also be in compliance with the protocols established by the Presidential Task Force on this COVID pandemic. So that people coming there, they must also be sanitized properly. But INEC is not the one to provide that sanitizer for them. But we are going to provide sanitizer for all the adult staff and all INEC staff that will be on the field. They will have sanitizer, they will have face mask, but voters have to provide them to get their own. We will have asked parties, but parties may want to put logo, like INEC now put logo on its own. So we don't want to have not to cause confusion. So we ask individual to get his own face mask while coming there. Once they have their face mask and then they are properly sanitized, and then the distancing will also be observed very seriously on election day. These are the measures we have put. But for all our own staff and adult staff, they will have the water to wash their hands, they will have sanitizer there, and they will also be given face masks. Okay.
There are several thousands of indigenous and citizens who are yet to register due to one reason or the other. Maybe some of them are not up to the age of 18 during the registration process. Yes. Is there any provision for them to be captured in the process of online monitoring of electoral process?
It would have been better to do, but the issue of registration, according to law, is that you are going to vote at the polling unit where you registered. So that is why we cannot do diaspora voting. That is why we cannot register in Osun and go to vote in Maiduguri. So that has not been, the law has not allowed that. If the current law that the National Assembly is making allows that, we will do it. And because of this pandemic now, the Commission has also devised on its own a sort of portal where politicians don't have to come to our office in Abuja to submit all their details, but they can just submit on the portal, and then the thing, if it is okay, the portal will accept. If it is not, it should not. Like this issue of age, we are now complaining about in Bayelsa. Now, for the current situation that we have now, if anybody is now doing online registration with political parties, not individual now, when they are doing registration of their party candidates and so on, if they send their details to INEC portal, if the details like age, if the approved age is 35, if the person is 34 and a half, that portal will not accept it. So all the problems we are having now battling with Bayelsa election will not be there. So these are part of the advantage or gains of COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, thank you, sir. Sir, what is there any provision that has been made for voters and to change voters registration center, because there are some voters whereby on their voting card they vote them where they registered in Owode, and presently they are not living in Owode, maybe they are living in Otefu. Is there any procedure to change their voting center for them to vote? Because due to distance, maybe they won't be able to come back to Owode to come and vote. Is there any procedure that
there has always been such procedure, because that has always been there. And before we do our next election in 2022, I think, government election in the state, that facility will also be made available for them. All they do is to transfer. They just go to the electoral officer at the local government area where the person player. They will fill necessary forms and they will pass the form to us at the headquarters and we process it, and then they will be transferred automatically to the new area where they want to move to.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, has the media have they been helping in reporting the activities of the INEC?
In Osun, the media have been very, very wonderful and cooperative with us. When we have, anytime we have a function and they are invited, they always turn up. Even at times they used to invite us even to their own office to come and all these questions you're asking for them to be updated on what is going on in the commission. So that we have been doing, but this year we have not done because of this. You know, everybody was shut down for about 2-3 months before we came back in May this year.
So are you enjoying their service?
No, they have always been very friendly, and we see from what from their reportage, we also enjoy them.
Okay. On the final note, what are your advice to the citizen to support the INEC election?
Well, since all of us have accepted that the way to go is that of democracy, then all of us, we don't even seem to have a choice. We need to make sure that we allow INEC to do its job properly, not to distract INEC, not to confront INEC. If issues are not clear to them, they should either local government, if you are in local government, get to our office. They will explain to you. If you are not satisfied, come to the headquarters. Either you see the rep or you see the admin secretary, who will direct you to the relevant head of department, and then the person will be appropriately attended to. So this is INEC is for everybody, because this is the commission that brings us the president of the country, the vice president of the country, the governors of the various states, deputy governors of the various states, the members of the National Assembly, members of the State Assembly. So if that, and even the local government in FCT, area council offices, we also conduct election there. Only the states, they are only the states that SIEC also operate there. So whether it is INEC or SIEC, people have the obligation to cooperate with them. Let them do their job without any distraction. If you allow them to do their job diligently, then they will get better results. It is when you start distracting us here, distracting us there, then they will not be focused on what they are doing. But they should know that INEC is their own. If there is no more democracy in Nigeria, if there is no politics in Nigeria, INEC will not be relevant. INEC is relevant when politicians are doing the right thing and they are doing the best thing. And we also implore them also that they should also ensure that we have good governance. Because when you don't have good governance, it's going to affect our job. We prepare for election, you have these people coming. But if everybody is feeling the impact of government, then people get their salary, the roads are good, the hospitals are okay, the various educational institutions are also okay. The parents will be happy, the students who are 18 years and above will be happy to get their PVC, those who have not gotten them. And those who have them, we keep them well. So on election day, they can all come out to come and vote. But when governance is often having problem, then it's like somebody preparing for a party, on the party day, when few people turn up. It will not be in the interest of the INEC and Nigeria, because a lot of money will have been expended to get all those materials for election ready. And then so we need our people to cooperate with us, collaborate with us, and during the election, they should also join us. That is why we have, like I told you, several stakeholders, from traditional leaders, religious leaders, student leaders, ad hoc staff, even women, gender, and then we also have people with disabilities. We also have various meetings with them, and even the media. We work together, we carry them along. Most of the functions we do, they are there. And even on their own, they even during election, they invite us to come and also talk with them. All the various media organizations operating in Osun State, we have met them severally before. So we are always there to also meet them, and they have always been there. Anytime we call on them, they have also shown up. So I believe that the issue of INEC is the issue of Nigeria, and everybody, particularly those who are 18 years and above, they must participate. people must register during the time that you call people to come and register. Those who have not registered, those who have logged their PVC should report on time so that this thing can be printed on time for them, because it's not printed here. It's there like national headquarters in Abuja. So, but people have to report on time so that you can be able to get this message across to the necessary department, and then they can print them, and then we'll come back, call them to come and collect their PVCs. So because without PVC, they cannot participate in any election. So we have to continue to rub minds and then discuss together, talk together. If they see us do anything either in local government or state office, they should draw attention to it so that we can get that area corrected. That is when we can have the better part of INEC.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. My name is Olusegun Agbaje. Thank you very much.
Viewers, we've come to the end of today's program, but before we go, just as we said, please and please, let's enable to be a good citizen. Let's always play our role in all forthcoming election. Let's come out and vote. Let's help INEC. So before we go, we thank our producer, Mr. Paul Awolo, and we thank our editor, Mr. Olaworo, and to our amiable cameraman with Mr. Tosin Adedoko. We thank you so much, and to everybody behind the camera who have been a success of this wonderful program today. We say thank you so much to all of you all. Till we meet next week, same program and same time. Bye.